All right, well, welcome back, or welcome for the first time, as it may be. Today is a particularly special occasion on the channel. This is my first time having a guest, but we're going to be reading some SCP stuff, which I have a little bit of familiarity with, but we're on the Guide to Newcomers page here because my guest hasn't really ever looked into it before. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Mr. Or Oil, and I'm excited to get into it. Yeah,
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Don't have to say anything particularly fancy. So we were reading a little bit of the guide for newcomers before we started recording here. You wanted to go over the basic terminology section just
yeah,
on the
yeah. Just have a
video,
look at it. Yeah,
just to make
understand
sure.
what it means and all
Yeah,
that.
just to make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to some of the key um words and phrases we might be covering.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start linking? Do you want to start reading or?
Okay, I'll read over this section then. So an anomaly or an anomalous,
An
it means
anomaly or
anything.
anomalous? Anomalous.
So it means anything that doesn't follow the rules of reality as we know them. So
Yep.
something very peculiar
Yeah,
then.
something very peculiar, something strange.
Alright. So some object classes. Each anomaly contained by the Foundation has a assigned object class. Okay, so the ones are safe, which I'm assuming means
It says
oh,
it's
it's
not.
simple.
It's talking. Yeah, it's talking about how. Like, it's not about how dangerous the object is. It's sort of how easy it is to contain. Um,
Okay.
I remember once reading a thing that it compared the different containment classes to like putting something in a box. Like if it's safe, you can just put it in the box and it stays in the box.
Yeah, so it's how easy it is to lock up.
Yeah, it's how easy it is to keep locked up. The next one is Euclid, meaning containment is more complex. So to keep the box analogy going, you might have to like put something on top of the box to keep the box closed.
Yeah, it's like catching like a bug inside a container
Yeah,
with a little layer.
it's like if you put with your bug container of a bug, like let's say there's a beetle, the beetle can't like climb up, so you can leave the lid off. But if it was like a butterfly or something else that can fly, you might have to put the lid on.
Exactly. I see. I see.
And then Keter, I don't remember how you're meant to pronounce it. I think it's Keter. Anyway, that's just harder. That's just like even harder to contain than that.
It'd be
Um,
like trying to catch a fly in a box somehow that's flying around the room.
maybe something like that. Yeah. So anyway,
Perfect. That makes sense.
yep. So of the rest pages, part about the community and staff. We're not going to check out like the guide for reading or anything because we picked out a couple before getting started. First of all, being SCP-173, which was, I believe, the first one to ever be written like in the real world.
Is that the one that the jelly bean one? The
One
one,
seven three.
the one
I
that
think there,
like
I think there
you
used to be
can't
an,
look at.
I think there used to be an image on the page, but you can't. Like they had to take it out for legal reasons or something.
Ah, so that's why it's not imaged here.
Yeah. So, um, you want me to start reading? This one's really short, so maybe we'll just read through the whole thing before we give our thoughts.
All right.
So how about I read the first sections up until the end of the containment procedures, and then you could read the description?
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright. SCP-173. Object Class Euclid. Remember, that's the middle one. Special Containment Procedures. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them. At all times, two persons must maintain direct eye contact with SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container.
Alright, so the description is it was moved to Site 19 in 1993. An origin is of yet unknown. It's constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krillin brand spray paint. SCP-173 is an animated and extremely hostile, and this object cannot move while within direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time with SCP-173. Personnel assigned to enter the container are instructed to alert one another before blinking. Object reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. And then personnel report sounds of scraping stone originating from within the container when no one is present. This is considered normal, and any change in this behavior should be reported to the acting HMCL supervisor on duty. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood. Origin of these materials is unknown. The enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis.
So that was the
Alright,
first one of these ever written. I think it's really good. I like the fact that
yeah,
it's short, it's sweet, but it's enough to it captured the imagination of so many people that this site with gosh, it's approaching 10,000 articles now. It's on series 10. So,
off. Yeah,
and that's ignoring like side stuff that doesn't count that aren't the main SCP series articles.
it's a very basic but very understandable, like scary monster. Like it kind of reminds me of the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who, for
Yeah,
example.
that's exactly what I was going to bring up was have you watched Doctor Who? Do you know the Weeping Angels? Because it's the
Ah,
same sort of thing. It doesn't move when you're looking at it. I like that it's sort of
yeah,
I like the way that it's there's something that seems particularly sinister about the way that it specifically snaps the neck of its victims.
yeah, a very brutal way to kill them.
But I also like the sort of the implications about a wider world. Like it's talking about a site number 19. Um, this organization has been in operation since at least the 90s, as shown by it being moved in 93.
Yeah, and there's plenty of terminology that I don't understand at all, like class 4 hazardous object containment
I'm
procedures.
going to be honest, I don't think anybody has ever figured out what that means either. It's just meant to, the idea is I think it's like this is a document from some secret organization, and they have these procedures in place. We don't know what they are,
All
but
right. Yeah,
it's meant to. I think it's meant to. It makes it seem more sort of professional. It's saying refer to these procedures rather than detailing every single step in the article itself.
'cause it's under wraps.
Like it's about
Uh,
because like it's about this specific like monster, and if these are a set
yeah,
of standard procedures, it's class 4 procedures. Then everybody who works there will know. Oh, class 4 procedures means you do this, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was. It's really. Yeah, it's actually really clever.
One question I had is, what does a HMCL supervisor do, if you know that?
I don't actually know that. That might be something
Yeah,
that other people have gone on to explain later on.
yeah.
But I think that's one of the again that's one of the things that sort of makes you wonder about the wider universe of this thing.
Yeah, there's like so many people in this organization. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. So, do you have anything else you want to say about this one before we move on to the second one we were discussing?
No, that's all. It's quite simple and quite,
Yeah,
uh, yeah,
I would say I'm not sure. I suppose simple works, but I think I would describe it more as being like to the point.
yeah.
You know,
It's engaging, but
like
it's like to the
it's
point. Yeah,
engaging. It's engaging, but it gets to the point. It doesn't waste your time, which I think people can appreciate as sort of like a good introduction. Is like I'm saying before, it leaves you with questions about the wider universe. it's a fairly compelling concept on its own. I think if it was a different concept for like a strange object, who knows, maybe SCP wouldn't have taken off the way it did.
Yeah, it feels like something very convoluted and wordy. Aye.
Yeah, like I think
This
they can get
is
away with more people can get away with making more convoluted articles nowadays because
yeah,
there's been this they had a good start and then things got more complicated over time, I think, generally. But there are still
yeah.
like simpler articles written even now, I believe, although I talk about this like I'm some sort of expert. I just sort of occasionally read and then sometimes hit the I just sometimes get of a mood to read SCP and then hit the random page button.
Fair enough, fair enough.
All right, so we're ready to move on to the second one we were gonna read.
Yeah. What one should we do?
I how about well, we've got two of them. One of them is a much longer one, and then there's a second sort of short one. So do we want to do the longer one, and then we can have the short one as sort of a palate cleanser after, if we've got time?
Yeah, let's see how the longer ones go then.
All right, so we're going to next be reading number 49, which notably has a different like page layout than the than the other one.
Oh yeah, it's looking more advanced, more developed.
Yeah, I don't know why some pages have different like layouts for them, and that's just sort of the way it is. Which fair
Depends on
enough.
the
Who
writing
knows?
style.
Maybe the different page styles are like this is an article from like a different site. Maybe different sites format things differently. Who knows?
Yeah,
Um, might just be a stylistic thing by this author. Um,
exactly.
do you want to start? Do you want to read the containment procedures and such for this one to start? Since
All
I've
right.
read the start of the last one.
For the containment procedures then. So it is SCP-049 and its object class is Euclid. Okay,
Yep.
so SCP-49 is contained within a standard secure humanoid containment cell in Research Sector O2 at Site 19. SCP-49 should be sedated before anyone attempts to transport it, and during transport it must be secured within a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints, and monitored by no fewer than two armed guards. While it's generally cooperative with most Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes in behavior are to be met with elevated force. Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with SCP-049 during these outbursts. In the event that it becomes aggressive, the application of lavender has been shown to produce a calming effect on the entity, and once calmed, it generally becomes compliant and will return to containment with little resistance. In order to facilitate the ongoing containment of SCP-049, the entity is to be provided with the corpse of a recently deceased animal, typically a bovine or other large mammal, once every 2 weeks. Corpses that become instances of SCP-049-2 are to be removed from its containment cell and incinerated. SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact with human subjects, and requests for human subjects are to be denied.
You want me to read the temporary update thing?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Um, temporary containment procedure update. See addendum 049.3. Our Containment Committee Order 049 S19 17-1. SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact directly with any members of Foundation staff, nor is it to be provided with any additional corpses to be used in its surgeries. This order shall persist indefinitely until such time a consensus regarding the ongoing containment of SCP-049 can be reached. Before we move on to the description, is there anything you want to say about this guy from what
So
we've read
far,
so far?
so far I can see the Euclid's classification for it because it is easy to be sedated with lavender,
Yeah, it's
and at the same time it seems very friendly, but it can have outbursts, which is kind of like in the middle.
yeah, like it's talking about like on the picture, it looks like a sort of plague doctor guy. It's talking about it's talking about giving it corpses for it to do surgeries on as part
Yeah,
of containing it. So the idea, so it seems like basically if you keep this sort of plague doctor guy happy, he won't bother trying to escape.
Yeah. As long as you keep him happy, he's happy to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Which makes sense
So
for to be a Euclid object class.
from what you understand about it so far, yeah. Also,
Well, yeah.
also makes mention of corpses becoming instances of SCP-49-2, which
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what that means. It's like
Is there like two of them, or who
um
knows?
it's like a it's like a related
Oh,
thing to
wait,
it.
yeah.
So it's like it makes whatever this thing is. So rather than making like say this thing it makes being SCP-50, um I suppose it's something caused, it's like an effect of 49. So it's like 49 part 2.
So the format's kind of like SCP, then the number it is, then the thing that it does. Or am I
If it like makes
misunderstanding?
another, maybe it will be easier to understand once we get to the description of what it is and what it does. Um
Alright.
this seems quite long, so like what, 4 paragraphs of description? So how about I keep reading for the first two and then you do the next part? Also, you
Perfect. Alright.
see, there's the little like one. I forget what they're called, but the little like red one and such, like the footnotes. If you hover over the footnote with your mouse, it will like display what that footnote says.
Alright.
So I'll start reading that description. SCP-49 is a humanoid entity, roughly 1.9 meters in height, which bears the appearance of a medieval plague doctor. While SCP-49 appears to be wearing the thick robes and ceramic mask indicative of that profession, the garments instead seem to have grown out of its body over time. The footnote says, the robes and gloves are identical to a thick hide built up on the skin, while the mask is composed of a kind of chitin growing out of the bones of the face, and are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath them. X-rays indicate that despite this, SCP-49 does have a humanoid skeletal structure beneath its outer layer. SCP-49 is capable of speech in a variety of languages, though it tends to prefer English or medieval French. The entity claims to have originated in 15th century France, although admits that it is particularly well travelled. It looks like that point about being particularly well travelled is a link to another article, maybe like a story about it, rather than the sort of scientific document type thing.
Oh,
Maybe we can read that if we do like a second video. We can revisit this guy.
yeah, that'd be
For
interesting.
now, while SCP-49 is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff, it can become especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels that it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to Foundation researchers, it does seem to be an issue of immense concern to SCP-49.
Okay, and SCP-49 will become hostile with individuals it sees as being affected with the pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, it will generally attempt to kill any such individual, and it is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease through direct skin contact. How this occurs is currently unknown, and autopsies of its victims have invariably been inconclusive. SCP-49 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they've done very little to kill the pestilence. They will usually seek to perform crude surgery on the corpses using the implements contained within a black doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. While these surgeries are not always successful, they often result in the creation of instances of SCP-049-2.
You want to do the read the little footnote before we carry on to the next paragraph? This is about the bag.
Alright,
Just hover your mouse over the little
so
3.
I see it. So the space within the bag is seemingly anomalously large as SCP-49 has been observed pulling objects larger than the bag itself from within it in order to operate on the deceased subjects. Huh. And kind of like an infinite bag.
Yeah,
Alright.
I don't know if you know much about like D&D, but imagine like the bag of holding. which is that
Yeah,
general
alright.
sort of thing, or the bag from Mary Poppins, the handbag.
Yeah.
Yeah, sinister Mary Poppins.
Oh no.
Um. Anyway,
So SCP-049-2 instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by SCP-049. These instances do not seem to retain any of the prior memories or mental functions, having only basic motor skills and response mechanisms. While these instances are generally inactive, moving every little in a generally ambulatory
I think that's
fashion,
ambulatory. I think it's pronounced.
ambulatory, okay, ambulatory fashion, they can become extremely aggressive if provoked, or if directed by SCP-049. SCP-049-2 instances express active biological functions, although these are vastly different from currently understood human physiology. Sorry. Despite these alterations, SCP-049 often remarks that the subjects have been
There's some sort
cured.
of hold on. There's some sort of like sound going on. Up, it stopped. It was like the little buzzing from your microphone got worse or something, but it seems like it's fixed itself.
All right, I did. Was it a kind of echo thing? I was getting that when testing before.
Sort of like that. It seems like whatever's caused it's done now.
Good,
Nope,
good.
nope, it's back.
What about
Hold
now?
on. It might have been an issue with the cable of my headphones. Like what? Hold on. Let me try adjusting my cable. I might have knocked the cable out or something. Um,
Okay, we can cut this bit out.
no, this is fine. This is regular stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This is fine. We're we're just having a good time.
I hope I've not like destroyed the ears of the viewers or anything with
I mean,
that.
it's entirely possible it's an issue on my end. Also, I
All
looked.
right.
Also, while we're paused, I looked up ambulatory, and it says the definition is related to or adapted for walking. So it
Oh, okay.
basically like, so I think it's basically saying like that they can't like they don't move around, but when they do, they're just like walking about.
They're kind of like zombies, like the slower zombies
Yeah, like it's
almost.
something like that. Yeah. Like it can like the people that it kills and does this surgery on like come back as zombies under its control type of a thing,
Yeah, it's kind of like an undead army of its own or something.
which is probably why the Foundation people burn these corpses whenever it happens to them.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we? We had I think you had gotten to they become extremely aggressive if provoked or directed to by SCP-49.
Okay, so SCP-049-2 instances express active biological function, although these are vastly different from the currently understood human physiology. Despite these alterations, SCP-049 often remarks that the subjects have been cured.
Addendum 49.1 Discovery SCP-049 was discovered during an investigation of a series of unknown disappearances in the town of Montalban in southern France. During a raid on a local home, investigators found several instances of SCP-49-2 as well as SCP-49. All law enforcement personnel engaged the hostile 49-2 instances. 49 was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in its journal. After all of the 49-2 instances were dispatched, SCP-49 willingly entered Foundation custody. And there's another picture of it upon discovery.
Oh,
Oh, there's the audio.
there we
Is
go.
this? It looks like there's audio of an interview, but they've also got a log. Um,
Alright.
do we want to? I think we should just read it ourselves. Rather than both of us being quiet and listening to a recording for 3 minutes.
Yeah, do you wanna take a role? You
Do
can
you want
be
to be? Do
um,
you want to be the plague doctor or the scientist?
I will be the scientist then.
Okay. Um, Interviewer Dr. Raymond Ham, Site 85. Interviewee SCP-49. Begin log. SCP-49 in French, saying, "So then, how should we begin? An introduction?"
Is that French? Can we get a translator in?
Ah, the King's English. No need for translation, sir. I can speak it well enough.
Oh, good, good. My name's Dr. Raymond Ham, and I
Ah, a doctor. A like-minded individual, no doubt. Wherein is your specialty, sir?
cryptobiology. Why?
A medical man such as myself. Wonders abound. And here I worried I had been abducted by common street thugs. It looks around the room. This place, then. This is your laboratory? I had wondered, as clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here.
The pestilence? What do you mean?
The scourge, the great dying. Come now, you know, it taps its temple furiously. What is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to, until such time as a perfect cure can be developed. It leans back in its chair. Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it, you see. The cure to end all cures.
Yeah. So when you say the Great Dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague?
Hmm? I don't know what that is.
I see. Right. Well, the entities of our agents encountered at that house, they were dead when you encountered them, yes? And you reanimated them?
In a manner of speaking. You see things too simply, Doctor. Expand your horizons. Life and death, sickness and health. These are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There is only one ailment that exists in the world of man, and that is the pestilence, and nothing else. Make no mistake, they were very ill, all of them.
And you think you cured those people?
Indeed, my cure is most effective.
The things we recovered were not human.
It pauses and glares at Dr. Ham. Yes, well, it is not a perfect cure, but that will come with time. And further experimentation! I have spent a lifetime developing my methods, Dr. Ham, and I will spend a lifetime more if necessary. Now, we have wasted too much time. There is work to do. I will require a laboratory of my own, one where I can continue my research unimpeded. And assistance, of course, though I can provide those on my own in time.
Yeah, I don't think our organization will be willing to.
Nonsense. We are all men of science. Fetch your coat and show me to my quarters, Doctor. It gestures with a pointed stick. Our work begins now. End log.
That was interesting. So he believes he's curing the people that he's affecting with the.
Well, we don't know. Well, whatever he thinks the pestilence is, it genuinely thinks it's trying to help, and genuinely thinks it is helping, which is interesting.
Yeah, he's like a lost plague doctor who still thinks that the plague's going on or something.
Yeah. Although the fact that it doesn't know what the plague is interesting.
Yeah, it's like a alternate universe plague doctor or
I mean,
something.
maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? So the interviewer's note. While SCP-49 is capable of communicating in a very human way, there is a strange sense of unease that one experiences when in its presence. Make no mistake, there is something very uncanny about this entity indeed. Additionally, we've confiscated that pointed stick that it keeps waving around. Part of this was due to standard confiscation protocols for possessions of anomalies, and part because 049 really is a menace swinging it around like he does. The entity was displeased at first, but after we made some concessions in providing it with test subjects, which are, admittedly, more for the benefit of our own research, it warmed up to the idea. While in containment at Site 19. Addendum 049.2. Observation log. While in containment at Site 19, SCP-049 has spent a considerable amount of time studying and performing surgery on the various mammalian corpses it has been provided. SCP-049 will routinely spend several days performing surgery, and then, regardless of whether or not the corpse becomes an instance of SCP-49-2, spending several more days documenting its findings in a thick leather journal stored within its doctor's bag. SCP-49 will often seek to share its findings with members of Foundation staff. The following is a log of several occasions in which SCP-49 was observed operating on a mammalian corpse. Do you want to read the first log here?
Alright, so observational log 049.ol.1 summary. The subject is SCP-049, And a preface to this is that a test subject was introduced to SCP-049's containment cell, and the entity expressed sincere gratitude towards all members of the containment and research staff. Okay, and some observation notes are that SCP-049 began by asking D85123 several standard medical questions as it began removing tools from its bag. Shortly after finishing its preparations, SCP-049 quickly closed down the distance between the two, killing the subject with a touch to its throat. Afterwards, SCP-049 made a number of considerable alterations to the basic structure of the subject's corpse, often introducing fluid from within its bag into the subject by way of a hand-powered pump and copper tubing. The resulting 049-2 instance became animated, flailing and grasping at the walls of the chamber with a number of manufactured limbs while moaning out of an oblong orifice now present in its sternum. During this time, SCP-049 was observed taking notes of the instance in its journal and remarking to the watching research staff about the efficacy of its cure. Security personnel entered the chamber to move SCP-049 back to containment and were attacked by the instance. The security team dispatched the 049-2 instance, and SCP-049 returned to containment with no resistance, stating that it was pleased with the results.
Okay, so that thing there, the test subject D whatever, that's something that'll come up a lot of these, are the D class staff. They're
Alright.
basically like I think the D would generally agree to stand for like disposable. Like they're people that they don't care if they die.
They're like disposable subjects. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's a good way to describe
it's
them. Yeah.
generally I think the lore for them is generally considered that like the Foundation will get like inmates on death row and such and fake their executions so that way their deaths will contribute to science and such rather than them just dying.
Like lab rats, but
Yeah,
people.
like they're
Yeah.
using people that are sentenced to death who rather than them having their execution, they get brought to like a Foundation site where they will take part in these experiments.
So they would have died anyway, but they're using them for
Yeah, they would have
science.
died anyway, but
Yeah.
at least this way their death is contributing further to like protecting the world from these anomalies or whatever it is the Foundation is doing.
Yeah, makes sense. That's quite a smart approach, but also quite.
It's quite cold
Uh,
blooded, but
yeah.
like it's cold blooded, but it's logical, you know? It's
Yeah.
like you can make it, I guess it's like it's not quite moral, but I'm not sure if I would call it especially evil either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because they're gonna die anyway, but maybe giving them a less painful death
Well,
would have been
no,
more
no.
moral.
Maybe. Um but again, if I'm saying anything wrong, if people want to complain about me getting more wrong in the comments, please do. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with this either. I just casually read articles every once in a while, so if I need any corrections, leave them. I will bring them up if we do a second one of these. Alright.
Perfect.
Observational log 049 OL2 summary. Subject SCP-49. Preface. SCP-49 was provided the corpse of a recently deceased goat. SCP-49 expressed gratitude at the provision. Observation notes. SCP-49 operated on the goat's corpse for several days, eventually resulting in an instance of SCP-49-2. SCP-49 expressed pleasure in this outcome, although admitted the disease was still in its nascent stage. My, my veterinarian practices rudimentary, but the patient responded well to the procedure. So it works on animals as well as people.
Yeah, I was
Interesting.
about to say, yeah, you can create like an army of undead humans and then have like them ride in on a bunch of like undead horses. That'd be
Yeah,
like very scary
yeah.
if left unchecked.
It seems like there's a couple more of these logs before we get to another interview. So how about we read both of these and then give our thoughts on this section? Well,
Yeah, I'll read the next one then.
okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
observational log 049.OL.3 summary. So, some preface here is that SCP-049 was provided the corpse of a recently deceased orangutan and it expressed noted gratitude at the provision due to the similarities between the orangutan and common human physiology. So SCP-049 spent several days operating on the orangutan, reanimating it several times. However, SCP-049 appeared to be discontent with the results it experienced, returning to the creature 3 times after its initial reanimation for additional work. After it was unable to reanimate the corpse for a 5th time, SCP-049 turned the corpse over to the Foundation staff for incineration, stating, "I have learned so much from this, though I fear my early optimism was misplaced. I hadn't yet come across such a stumbling block on my road to the cure. More subjects like this would do a great deal in advancing my research."
Interesting. Oh, this one, it skips from log 4 to log 7.
Where did the others go?
Who know, maybe they weren't. Maybe these are just summaries of the logs. So maybe the numbers 4 through 6 weren't important enough to go in the main document.
Ah, I see, I
Like
see.
maybe it was just more of the same as the previous 3 ones, and this one's more notable because it says this is
Yeah.
the full log rather than a summary.
Alright, let's go then.
Observational log 049.ol.7 full. Subject SCP-049. Preface. SCP-049 was provided the corpse of a recently deceased bovine. It expressed a mild annoyance at the provision, though accepted it nonetheless. SCP-049 had stated its desire to work on human subjects several times between this occasion and the earlier provision of an orangutan, noting its discontentedness when they would not be provided. Observation notes. SCP-049 spent several days operating on the bovine corpse, breaking only to dine on a requested dinner of thin crackers, salted pork, and hard cheese. SCP-049 has expressed that it does not require sustenance, but enjoys it and feels that food helps it put it in the right mind to operate. Beginning first by embalming the corpse, SCP-049 was observed producing a number of long syringes from its bag, each containing a different dark viscous fluid. SCP-049 described these fluids as essences of the humors, and elaborated by saying the pestilence may bring about a systemic imbalance. In such a case, before true healing can begin, one must find the humor is in balance or the body will reject the cure. SCP-049 added to the statement by saying, "This is, of course, elementary knowledge of the practical physician. I would have thought you would have learned this during your education." Over the next few days, SCP-049 spent a considerable amount of time adjusting the organs of the bovine corpse with a number of large metal instruments. After 8 days, it produced a lightning rod, which Dr. Ham exchanged for an electric cattle prod and attached to an extension cord, and struck the corpse in several locations. This action seemingly had the effect of animating the bovine, which once again became ambulatory, despite the inversion of the head and reorientation of its limbs.
Cool.
So, do you want me to go first with my thoughts on this section?
Yeah, go ahead.
So first of all, it's interesting that the orangutan, it seems like, I don't know if it's just for this, just the orangutan's an exceptional case, or maybe if it's a common thing that it can't reanimate the same thing over and over again. Because it said it couldn't reanimate it for a
Yeah.
5th time, but then it seemed disappointing. It seemed disappointed in that, so maybe this is
Yeah.
unusual, that maybe it can bring a body back as many times as it wants, and that's why they have to incinerate them.
Yeah, it's only got a limit to it.
I also find it quite interesting with the whole plague doctor thing, that it also believes in the concept of the humors, the sort of medieval medicinal concept that was been disproved for hundreds of years, because it's a plague doctor. It's not like a modern doctor at one of our hospitals. Of course, a plague doctor would believe in this sort of thing. Um, I also find the
Oh,
idea of it
yeah.
trying to set up a lightning rod inside kind of funny.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add before we move on to the follow-up interview?
No, it's just very interesting the way he's trying to reanimate the corpse. I will need to like hear more about why he's doing it or
I
what his
wonder if
goals are.
actually I don't know if there's any. I haven't read this one before. I don't know if it gives us an answer. Um, well, do you have any thoughts about what the pestilence it talks about is?
Ah, no, I'm not sure. It might be like something from its own world, if it's or something from its own mind that it's experienced in its own time. Because it says it's been around since the 15th century.
Maybe,
So,
maybe. But what I'm thinking, right? I'm wondering if rather than it being like from another universe where it's trying to cure a disease that doesn't exist in our world, I wonder if what it's trying to do is like the alchemists, like all these sorts of people. Maybe what it's trying to do with the fact that it's resurrecting corpses, in a sort of zombie-like form, it makes me wonder if the pestilence it's trying to cure is like death itself. Is it trying to find a way to
well,
bring people properly back to life?
that's actually a good observation. I didn't think of it like that.
Because I'm thinking, because it brought the orangutan back, it wasn't happy with what happened to it, so it made sure it died again, and kept trying, and then was disappointed when it couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to bring them back permanently or something.
Yeah, like is it trying to
Maybe,
bring them back to life properly? Is what it's because if we scroll back up, some like the names that it calls the pestilence in the first interview, it calls
yeah,
it things like it says the great dying, so it's maybe not literal death, but it
absolutely.
it talks it's talking about other stuff because it says the great dying isn't the bubonic plague. So,
Yeah, it could literally mean death. Yeah, you're onto something with that, I think.
well, the fact that it couldn't think of the right word after calling it the great dying makes me not quite certain.
Yeah, that's the one contradictory thing. I
Maybe
wonder if it'll
it's
let us know further on.
maybe. Anyway, there's another interview. Do you want to take our roles up again from the previous interview where you're Dr. Ham and I'm the plague doctor?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Follow up interview. Begin log.
Okay, we've watched your work for several weeks now, and honestly, I'm not sure I understand what you're doing. Can you describe your process in detail?
Oh, goodness, no, the process is most intensive. As I said to your assistant, the best instruction you will find about my methods are here in my journals, as I have kept exhaustive methods of my work there. The footnote says, notably, SCP 049's journals are not written in any known language, and attempts by linguists and code breakers to decipher them have been unsuccessful.
Okay, I see. My concern, Doctor, is that we still don't understand what you're seeking to cure or how it manifests, or how turning these creatures into quasi-living, mindless drones helps in that effort.
You do not understand the pestilence, even after all this time? Doctor, it is an unspeakable horror, one that has shown its true face many times before and will again. I find myself blessed with the wisdom and good senses needed to root it out and destroy it, but many like yourself cannot. It is a cruel judgment, I fear, to be at the mercy of a disease you cannot fully comprehend.
That still doesn't answer my question. How is your cure any kind of cure at all?
It grows suddenly agitated. It is a cure! You may laugh at my efforts if you please, but do not besmirch the good name of scientific progress that has developed as great mercy. What you so short-sightedly see here is a life better than any this creature could have hoped for, stricken as it was with pestilence. The creature is now clean, unable to spread the pestilence, and free from the terror it would have experienced otherwise.
This is hardly a creature at all, Doctor. It's not even.
Do not jape with me, sir! You and your colleagues are like so many others, unable to look past minor setbacks and see the salvation taking place before your very eyes. Do you wait to remove rotten timbers until the hull collapses on top of you? No, you find them and you pull them out and replace them with those untouched by rot. And most of all, you do not simply mock the structure because it now looks different to you. It is strong, it is free of disease.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to agitate you. I'm just trying to understand.
Yes, well, do mind your words in the future, Doctor. I am a professional, but even professionals may feel the bite of pride in dealing with criticism of their masterpiece. I will forgive this as an act of good faith between colleagues.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
It pauses, looking away from Dr. Ham. No, that will be all. Another test subject on the usual schedule. You know my preference of subjects with more human anatomies. End log.
Uh, so they've had a lack of
Do you want
understanding
to
between
read
them.
the attending researcher's note before we carry on?
All right. So SCP-049 does seem to genuinely want to help other humans, though has not yet been able to provide a concrete example of what exactly it's trying to save us all from. I've watched now over several weeks, and while the outcomes do not seem to ever change, SCP-049 continues to claim that it's growing closer to its perfect cure. I think that the entity may be more aware of the reality of these outcomes than I would like us to think.
Interesting.
So
So
implying that it's kind of like sort of aware that it's not helping.
I think what it's saying is that like it's trying to help, it knows what it's doing, but like it can't explain what's wrong, what it's trying to do, like in a way that
Yeah.
other people can understand. I think that last part, more aware of the reality of these outcomes than it would like us to think. I think what it means is maybe it knows more about what it means by being close to the cure than it's explaining.
I
Like it's not
see.
like because it's not explaining what the perfect cure would be, you know.
Yeah, he knows more than he's letting them on to.
Like it knows more than it's letting on about the outcome of its perfect cure. Is how I interpreted that line.
Yeah, it's
But
like
I can
deliberately
see
hiding a detail or
but
something
I
like
can see
that.
the argument that it's lying about know how much it knows about like what it's actually doing, what they see it as. But I see where you were
Mm.
coming from as well.
Yeah, that was what I first thought, but yeah, that makes sense where it kind of knows more about what it's doing than it's going to tell anyone at the Foundation about.
Yeah, because think about it. If we go back up, like it's like when it's asking, like when Dr. Ham asked, you know, how is your cure any kind of cure at all? Instead of explaining further, it gets angry at him and insists that it is a cure
Yeah,
and not to laugh at it.
yeah. So like, yeah, thinking about that part, I don't know because it seems to get annoyed when he tries to pry in further about it.
Yeah, like it acts all because it's acting all. Oh, I can't believe that after hundreds of years you do not know what the pestilence is, but then doesn't actually like explain clearly what it means.
Yeah, and it's acting as if it's like common knowledge. So either it is kind of like deluded into thinking that everyone should know, or it's hiding something. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's hiding something. And well, we
It
definitely know
could
it's
be.
hiding things. It's just a matter of how much it's hiding, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely hiding something. Yeah.
Anyway, Addendum 49.3, 4/16/2017 incident. First of all, that's the American date format. Um,
Oh,
I can't, shaking my head, I can't believe the website that I'm pretty sure is like American hosted and primarily written by Americans, used the American date format in one of the most famous articles. Shaking
how
my
dare
head.
they? Yeah, it's a
Anyway,
travesty.
49.3. Didn't that get mentioned earlier? Addendum 49.3?
I'll
Like
need
the
to have a look.
temporary
Yeah.
containment procedures, did it not say after the incident of Addendum 49.3 these extra measures have been introduced?
Oh, it did. I've looked up. It does say it.
And there's another interview. So I'll read this part and then we'll do the interview and then we'll see what's going on. So
All
starting
right.
shortly after SCP-049's initial containment, Dr. Ham conducted a number of interviews with the subjects regarding its anomalous properties, and over time began to notice displeasure with its subjects and SCP-49-2 instances. This continued over a period of several months, during which SCP-049 never exhibited any aggressive behaviors. On April 16th, 2017, as Dr. Ham was entering SCP-049's test chamber to conduct another routine interview, the entity began to grow anxious and asked Dr. Ham if he was feeling well. Following protocol, Dr. Ham reminded SCP-49 that the interview was required, after which the entity became hostile and attacked Dr. Ham, killing him. Due to a lapse in security protocol, and because Dr. Ham did not activate the in-chamber emergency system, Dr. Ham's corpse was not discovered until 3 hours later, by which point SCP-049 had converted it into an instance of SCP-049-2. In the aftermath of this incident, SCP-049 was interviewed by Dr. Theron Sherman. So, do you want to be the Plague Doctor this time since there's a new scientist, or do you want me to keep being the Plague Doctor?
I think I will be the scientist. I like the voice you do for the Plague Doctor.
Alright, I quite enjoy doing the voice as well, but I thought I would offer.
Alright.
Maybe if we read another one with an interview, you can be the SCP next time.
Yeah, that sounds good. Alright. So, interviewer Dr. Theron Sherman, Site 42, interviewee SCP-049, begin log. So, I need you to explain yourself.
There is no response.
SCP-049, you're being directed to explain your actions, and I will remind you that failure to cooperate will result in further restrictions during your containment.
It pauses. My actions do not need to be explained.
You killed Dr. Raymond Ham, then butchered him until he...
It interrupts angrily. Not dead! No! Not dead. He is cured.
Cured? Cured of what?
The pestilence, sir. I had thought you, at least, would realise what luck it is I detected it before.
What pestilence? You keep going on and on about this pestilence, but you've not once been able to properly identify this disease. What could you possibly have seen in him today that you had not seen so many times before that would be worth his life?
The pestilence presents and progresses in unforeseeable fashions, and has a queer way of creeping into the unprepared, and... Call it what you want, Doctor. It was a mercy I did to him. He is cured.
He is a vegetable.
I would not expect you to understand. You and your ilk have proven time and time again to not be men of science, but men of emotion. You cannot appreciate the horrors I have seen. Those many millions who have succumbed to the pestilence and been changed, who...
Your cure cost Ray his life.
No, good sir, I have saved it. You would allow this world to slip back into the despair of disease and death, ignoring that I have created a miracle and...
What disease? What pestilence? He was a healthy man. He was a good doctor.
I'm offering it freely to the afflicted. You are not worth this argument, sir. You are short-sighted and foolish. Dr. Ham was sick, and I cured him. I am the only one who can do this. My work must continue. There is so much still to learn, so much to...
I've had enough of this. Consider your allowances revoked. Welcome to Containment 049. We're done here.
Do, and others can be saved. Even you, though you do not deserve it, might be saved. I can save them all. I can cast down this plague once and for all. I can do this. Only me. I saved him. Dr. Ham. I cured him. He was sick. I know he was sick. I know he was. And you were all sick, but I can save you. I can save all of you because I am the cure. End log.
Ah, interesting.
Oh, there's a post-incident report interview. The following interview is an excerpt from the 4/16/17/049 incident reports. The interview was conducted by Dr. Elijah Itkin and took place 3 weeks after the start of the initial investigation.
Alright, so do you want to do this interview now then?
Well, let's scroll down. This is
Or should we talk about the
This is the
past?
last thing in the article, so let's read this interview and then we can give our
Alright.
overall thoughts.
Alright, so I'll be the doctor again then.
Yeah,
Alright.
this new scientist, Elijah Itkin.
So, interviewer Dr. Elijah Itkin, interviewee SCP-049, begin log. SCP-049, we're conducting this interview to close out our investigation of your actions taken on April 16th that resulted in the death of a staff member. Do you have any comments to make?
Only that I look forward to the day when you will allow me to resume my work. I have spent the last few weeks compiling my notes and constructing a new theory for how the pestilence is able to infect someone in such an insidious manner that I nearly couldn't detect it.
Have you experienced any remorse for your actions? For the death of Dr. Ham?
It waves its hand. Ah, yes, well, the death of a colleague is always regrettable. But in the face of the pestilence, we must be swift, Doctor, and act without hesitation.
Dr. Sherman noted in his report that you seemed to be mournful during your initial interview.
On? It pauses. Perhaps. I had not thought that. It is lamentable that a fellow doctor became infected, but the work continues. Regrettable as it was, Dr. Ham's death provided important insight. Living human subjects are the only way to proceed forward. I am decided. My cure is of little use on dead flesh, and I have gleaned all I can from your generous supply of corpses. My desires turn towards tending to those still living who suffer from the disease.
I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed.
Oh, doctor, I wouldn't be so sure. And the text is a link that leads to a story about it, I think. Yeah, scpwiki.com going
Alright.
home. Well, I'm loading up the page. Yep, it's like a proper prose story rather than like an extra part of the article, so we can maybe cover that
Okay, okay.
in the future.
Yeah, next episode if so you so desire.
Well, I'd be happy to have you back. But let's talk
Yeah.
about this one. Let's talk about this Plague Doctor guy and what we think from just the main article.
Yeah, I thought that
So,
was really cool. I liked that one more than the one we previously just did there. That was a really detailed, really fun to read. Aye.
yeah, I think the fact that it was like a person, you could more easily you could get more of an idea of what it is, of what the deal is, because they could do interviews with it. It wasn't just like a group of scientists writing down what they see happen, which there can be interesting ones done like that too. But the fact that they can have conversations with it, that this thing has a character rather than just
Yeah.
actions, I think.
Yeah, it kind of makes it seem more human
Yeah.
rather than like something scary that's uncontactable.
Yeah, rather than just some like it's different from like the other thing was, like it was like the weeping angels. It was sort of like a wild animal that if you gave it the chance it might attack you. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a person with motivations and regrets like this one was, which certainly made it an interesting, compelling read, like in a different way than the other one was compelling.
Yeah, you can reason with it. I think, yeah, both of them were very compelling. I liked specifically this one just because of the dynamic between the researchers and the SCP.
Yeah, do you maybe think this one is more that this one sort of better fit your preferences for what you get out of this like a story rather compared to the other
Definitely.
one?
Yeah, for sure. I
Although
prefer it this way.
although I suppose it helps that this one was longer, didn't it? You got to spend more
Yeah.
time to understand what was going on.
Yeah, if the other one had like a bunch of cases and like incidents, I might have been more into that one too. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was a bit of the length that contributed to that.
yeah,
And I think
but
it's good that we went and did a long one.
yeah. The first one was like the 173 was it was short and sweet. It was a good introduction, a good way to sort of phase you into it. But I think
Good
this
hook.
one,
Yeah.
this one took us maybe what like 40, 50 minutes to go through. So
Yeah.
and we didn't even notice that it's been that long until just now.
It
So
really has been that long. Huh?
yeah. I'm looking at my setup here, and it says it's been about 58 minutes of recording, and it took us about 10 minutes to get before we started this.
That
So
really went fast. I must have really enjoyed that story then. That was really good.
yeah, it was great, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
overall, I like this one. I like this one again. The fact that there were, the scientists, there were the multiple doctors interviewing it and such. It was cool. One thing
Yeah.
I liked about that, first of all, is I think if we can check the author, if we can find somewhere on the page, it should
Yeah.
say the author of this one. But maybe we can find like other SCPs written by the same person. Um,
Yeah. See if we can find
there's
that.
co-authored, but maybe if we can read another SCP by the same person, like some of these doctors might show up again, having been working with different things as well.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool to do in the future. I'd like to cover more of that. It was really fun.
Yeah. Um, but overall, again, I quite like that. At least in the main article itself, we still don't know what the pestilence is.
Yeah.
You know,
It leaves like space for imagination.
yeah, exactly. It leaves room for other people to write like stories about it
Yeah.
or to fill in the blanks with their imagination. It's one of those things where like don't people say that something like horror things get a lot less scary once you know more about them?
Yeah, kind of like if you've seen the movie It, at the end, it's way less scary when you find out. Well, I'm not going to spoil it if you've not seen it,
I
but
haven't seen
you
it.
know, uh,
But it's that sort of thing. It's like what people say happened about like with the back rooms, where once
yeah,
people started making up a bunch more stuff that's in it and going into detail about all these things, it became less. Some people think it became less scary because now you know what's
yeah,
in it instead of being left to wonder, is there something in here with me?
yeah. When they started like putting together like this is how you escape it, I went from this is like an inescapable, mysterious realm to like there's a way to get out. I can try my best to avoid things.
Yeah, which perhaps it can be frightening in a different way, but it sort of lost the particular type of scare that the original sort of things of it
Yeah,
had. But
it
that's
pivoted a bit.
but
Yeah,
we're on SCP. We're not talking about the back. We're not about the back room or backrooms wiki.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, well, let's see. Do you? Well, let's see. We have one more we were thinking about covering. We've only been here for an hour. Do you think we have? Do you think you have the time to stick with me to read one more? It's not as short as 173, but it's not quite as long as this.
Yeah, it'd be a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah, we
Get
can
a
wrap things
shorter
up
one in.
with
Yeah.
SCP-096.
All right, let me pull that up. There we go.
All right, so
Okay.
do you want me to start reading this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, SCP-096, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-096 is to be contained in its cell a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter airtight steel cube at all times. Weekly checks for any cracks or holes are mandatory, and there are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside of its cell. Security personnel will use pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure its presence inside. Any and all photos, video, or recordings of SCP-096 likeness are strictly forbidden without approval from Dr. Blank and 05 Blank. 05 Blank. So
Oh,
this is another thing. There's a context. I'll give you a little bit of context for the
yeah.
05 is like sort of the council of like the top dogs. They're kept like proper secret. The point where
Ah, I see.
the articles saying like from the top level of the organization, someone has forbidden this, but they're not going to tell you which one for privacy and security.
Ah, I see, I see. That's kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, should I read the
but I
description?
think the description's quite long, so let's read sort of a couple
Should we alternate
paragraphs.
paragraphs? Alternate
Yeah,
two
yeah.
paragraphs at a time?
Let's alternate paragraphs. That seems fair enough.
All right. So SCP-096 is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.38 meters in height. Subject shows very little muscle mass, with preliminary analysis of body mass suggesting mild malnutrition. Arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's body, with an approximate length of 1.5 meters each. Skin is mostly devoid of pigmentation with no sign of body hair. In
SCP.
SC...
Oh, yeah, alternate.
I thought...
SCP-096's jaw can open to four times the norm of an average human. Other facial features remain similar to an average human, with the exception of the eyes, which are also devoid of any pigmentation. It is not yet known whether 096 is blind or not. It shows no signs of any higher brain functions and is not considered to be sapient.
Okay, SCP-096 is normally extremely docile, with pressure sensors inside its cell indicating it spends most of the day pacing by the eastern wall. However, when someone views SCP-096's face, whether it be directly, via video recording, or even a photograph, it will enter a stage of considerable emotional distress. It will cover its face with its hands and begin screaming, crying, and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the first viewing, SCP-096 will begin running to the person who viewed its face, who will from this point on be referred to SCP-096-1.
Documented speeds have varied from 35 kilometers per hour to a blanked out kilometers per hour and seem to depend on the distance from SCP-096 1. At this point, no known material or method can impede its progress, and the actual position of 96-1 does not seem to affect 96's response. It seems to have an innate sense of 96-1's location. Note, this reaction does not occur when viewing artistic depictions. See document 96-1. Let's open this up in a new tab quickly.
Okay.
Okay, this is like an interview report kind of thing, looks like. So,
Okay.
do we maybe want to come back to this later rather than reading it right now?
Yeah, let's come back later then.
It looks like there's an audio log from an interview, like at the end. So maybe we can go back to these links in the page before we get to the interview part.
Yeah, let's do that then.
All right,
Okay,
so
so
you would start with upon arriving.
so upon arriving at SCP-096-1's location, SCP-096, will proceed to kill and data expunged SCP-096-1. 100% of cases have left no traces of SCP-096-1. SCP-096 will then sit down for several minutes before regaining its composure and becoming docile once again. It will then attempt to make its way back to its natural habitat. Data retracted.
Um, Due to the possibility of a massive chain reaction, including breach of Foundation's secrecy and large civilian loss of life, retrieval of subject should be considered alpha priority.
Doctor has also petitioned for immediate termination of SCP-096. See interview 096-1, blanked out. Termination order has been approved and is to be carried out by Doctor on data redacted. See incident 096-1-A.
So it looks like this interview here is the last thing on the main page. Do we want to read these sort of linked pages first? Or do we want to read the interview first, or do we want to read these offshoot pages before we go to the interview? Because it might give us more context for the interview if we read these other things first.
Yeah, let's read the other ones first then.
Alright, so the first one, document 96-1. You got it up?
Okay, I've got it up. Okay,
Okay. Do you want me to start? Do you want to start?
uh, I'll start with reading out the description, and then when we go to the interview, we can just assign the characters there.
Yeah, we can assign characters after this, but alright. Go ahead.
So, documentation 096-1 of experiment 096-1. Experiment 096-1 is headed by Dr. Dan. Purpose is to test SCP-096's abilities while obtaining complete physical description of SCP-096. D9031 is a 32-year-old convicted felon and former tattoo artist. He is placed inside the bathysphere 303-A, which is then lowered into the Tonga Trench off the coast of New Zealand. Position is approximately kilometers from SCP-096's temporary containment cell at site. The following was recorded via a video surveillance inside bathysphere 303-A between it and Dr. Dan's control site on the New Zealand mainland. Bathysphere 303-A reaches final depth of 1,800 meters.
Alright, so do you want to be the scientist or the D class guy? You were the scientist in the last article we read, so maybe I can be Dr. Dan,
Yeah, let's do
and you
that
can be
then.
the
I'll
D
be the
class guy.
D9 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so it stopped. What now?
Do you feel fine? No sickness? Anything?
My ears hurt a bit.
That should be expected. Now, on your left should be a steel container. Open it, and there will be a manila folder holding several photographs. Open it and describe the first photograph, please.
Okay. Nothing. It's an empty cell.
Thank you. Please set this photograph face down in the receptacle to your right and look at the next photograph.
Okay. It's the same cell, but there's a foot in it, I think.
Describe it, please.
It's pale and bony, sort of creepy actually.
Place the photograph in the receptacle face down and look at the next one.
Okay. Oh shit!
Grab the photograph.
It's I don't know, some creepy ass person.
Describe the photograph, please.
Hell, man, he's pale, has white eyes, has something fucked up is happening with his mouth. What the hell is this thing?
At this point, approximately 1332 standard time, Dr. Dan and Experiment Control is notified that SCP-096 has breached containment. The fastest path to SCP-0961 has been cleared of civilians and other image capturing devices, and SCP-96 is now being tracked by satellites via tracking collar. On your right, there should be another steel container. Open it.
Yeah. Oh wait, SCP's here.
That's the
I'll do that.
SCP-0961. The guy, remember when somebody sees its face, they
Oh,
become like a thing of the SCP.
wait, okay, I
So,
get it
so
now.
because they're the person that it's sort of psychically connected to and trying to track down and kill, it's called the D-class guy. Like he has seen it, so now the interviewer is saying this is the guy that it's trying to track down, basically.
Ah, so he's became
He's become Dash
SCP-096-1.
One, yeah. Like Dash One is
Okay,
the person that's seen it and it's trying to kill.
okay. So it's a pad of paper and pencil.
Yes. Please draw a sketch of the photograph you saw. SCP-0961 mumbles an expletive and spends the next 20 minutes drawing a sketch of the photograph. At the time of completion, SCP-096 is confirmed to be blank kilometers away from SCP-0961.
Okay, okay, I'm done.
Good. Place the drawing in the receptacle on your left and close the door.
Okay.
SCP-0961 complies, and the sketch leaves Bathysphere 303A in a watertight buoyancy container. The other photographs are then incinerated on the onboard incinerator.
Yeah, what now then?
Please stand by. 40 minutes pass. SCP-096 is now confirmed to be at SCP-0961's position and is diving. Transponder signal ends at 9339 meters as pressure goes beyond the device's operational limits. The camera shows the bathysphere shaking slightly. From SCP-0961's reaction, it is assumed SCP-096 is on the hull and is visible through the viewport.
Oh fuck! Shit! What the fuck is that?
Video and audio feed is cut as the hull of Bathysphere 303A is breached. SCP-096 is recovered by Surface Recovery Team Foxtrot 303A without incident. Sketch of SCP-096 is also recovered, and a quick test confirms no hostile reaction from SCP-096. Sketch is sent to Experiment Control on New Zealand, while SCP-096 is moved to permanent containment.
Okay, so this is kind of like how they discovered that the recreation of the through images does not affect it.
Yeah, like it hates when you look at its actual face, but it doesn't seem to mind drawings and such, but like a photograph or a video counts.
Yeah, it's strange how a photograph counts, but not a depiction of it.
Maybe it's because it's like it's its real face rather than an imitation.
I wonder if you took a picture of it with like a face filter on, it would be like
Well, like the
it
Instagram
would
dog
still be.
filter.
Yeah, I wonder if it'd still react to
Anyway, I have
that.
the incident log opened up now as well.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
so when you're ready, can start.
Okay, so containment has been attained.
Yes, Doctor.
Let me see the security footage.
Begin log.
A large steel cube is shown in the middle of a research lab, which is teeming with a dozen or so researchers in view of the camera as a control booth, displaying readings from the various sensors inside the cube.
Fast forward 1 minute 32 seconds.
The control booth operator leans forward, altered to the various readings of the sensors. Approximately 5 seconds later, a steel wall on the containment cube receives a sizable dent bending outwards. The dent becomes large before breaking, SCP-096 is seen bending the steel away, frantically trying to escape. Emergency plates drop on the cube as a containment breach is sounded.
The security tape has SCP-096 face blurred out as per containment protocol.
Two security teams enter the room as SCP-096 breaks out of containment. Live rounds and tranquilizer darts are fired to no visible effect. Approximately 90% of researchers and security personnel have directly viewed SCP-096's face, and a code limit is declared. The room and surrounding areas are sealed and flushed with class nerve agent.
Approximately 2 minutes later, SCP-096 breaches research site's blank and travels blank kilometers an hour through the outside desert, traveling in a blanked out direction. End log. Echo Romeo was assigned to immediate containment breach. When we realized just how big a breach we were dealing with, we were completely overwhelmed. Funny how even the best and brightest minds in the world can be so unprepared.
So you're saying that it's your own fault?
Absolutely not. This was a new discovery in SCP-096's behavior. We had no way to know, and we are lucky it did not turn into an XK.
Begin
Begin
log.
log. Film cam footage from ER-1.
Footage from inside a UH-60 shows SCP-096 on the desert floor, moving at a considerable speed.
ERA says, This is Echo Romeo Actual. You have visual of the target. There's an unintelligible section at data expunged, not an increasing. ERA listens to the radio as orders identified as coming from Dr. Dan are relayed. SCP-096 can be seen slowly gaining speed. ERA motions off camera. ER3 appears, holding a modified XM500 anti-material rifle. 2 shots are fired. The first misses, and the second one hits SCP-96 in the lower leg. SCP-96 stumbles but recovers. Speed change is insignificant. Unintelligible. No effect on target! ERA motions to ER3 again. ER3 fires 3 more shots. The first 2 miss, and the third one hits it in the head. SCP-096 falls, skids, and rolls several times, reducing its speed minimally. SCP-096 rolls to its feet and continues unabated. Camera pans up to see 8 V-22 Ospreys belonging to MTF Tal-1 flying overhead and past the helicopters on the same outbound vector as SCP-96. Camera cuts out. End log.
Begin log. Video interview log 096-1-A. Dr. Alexsky appears very calm, determined, and answers all questions slowly and deliberately. So, where were you exactly at the time of breach?
On break, getting a cup of coffee. It was pure luck I wasn't caught in the containment area.
Describe your actions directly after the containment breach.
I sent Echo Romeo after SCP-096 and alerted Dr. Dan to the situation. We then set upon the task of relocating SCP-96-1. Once the general direction of SCP-96 was determined, I sent Mobile Task Force Tal-1 ahead to evacuate civilian population centers in SCP-96's path, all according to containment protocol. End log.
Begin log. Video interview log 096-1-B. Dr. Daniel Dan sits patiently on the table in front of him. No, sits patiently. On the table in front of him is what looks to be a set of modified night vision goggles. For the record, where exactly were you during SCP-096's containment breach?
In the data expunged mountain range, trying to find more information on SCP-96's origins. It was a quick research expedition, so I left Dr. Alexei in charge of containment. He is competent enough, if a bit eager, and has proved himself in the past. It's all confirmed by the various related paperwork, so don't go thinking.
It was just for the record, Doctor. Now, knowing that SCP-096 is immune to all known forms of damage while in enraged state, why would you order the sniper attached from the emergency response team?
Why not? If there was a chance to slow down SCP-96 and give MTF Tal-1 more time, then we had to try it. It put ER in no danger, and the choppers were in danger of being outrun anyway. Honestly, ER could do little else to help or harm the situation.
I see. Now, can you explain this?
You want to read this action part before I carry on?
Okay. Interviewer motions to the goggles lying on the table.
Yes, this is Project Scramble, an eyepiece we assigned to ER and MTF Tal 1, designed by Dr. Alexei and myself specifically for SCP-96. It carries a small microprocessor which constantly analyzes the viewing field for facial features of SCP-96. Facial recognition software inside instantly identifies them, scrambling the image into an unrecognizable mess before the light reaches the human eye. It's quite ingenious, really.
And expensive.
Very, which is why it's such a shame it didn't work. End log.
Begin log. Audio transcript between MTF Tau 1 and modified EG3 Sentry AWACS. Call sign Big Brother.
And do you
Ospreys
want
in
to
the air.
be MTF T1 or Big Brother?
I'll be MTF T1.
Okay.
Ospreys in the air, moving to data expunged at data expunged. Awaiting vector.
Electronics online. Cruising altitude reached. Uploading program scramble to all camera systems. Cameras online. Big Brother is now watching.
What outbound vector is the target currently heading?
Target is currently westbound, traveling on shit. Yeah, he's on the I-40. I think he just flipped a semi. Outbound vector is data expunged. Degrees by data expunged. Next town on this vector is expunged. I'd say a couple 100 kilometers. Shit. MTF. We're suggesting that Echo Romeo begin evacuating the I-40. I don't know how many cars the target has wrecked.
Hold one. That's a negative, Big Brother. ER is reporting that the target is outrunning her choppers. They can't get ahead of him.
Then get them to stop the motorists on the other lane. I don't know how many people have seen this thing's face. End log.
The first three elements of Tau 1 succeeded in gathering the townsfolk in the first three times without incident. SCP-096-1 was confirmed to not be in any of these when SCP-096 ran through each in turn without stopping. However, a video log of MTF Tau shows SCP-096-1 being identified in the town of Data Expunged in the ensuing incident.
Show it. In log. Film cam footage from Element 4 of MTF Tal 1 in the town of Data Expunged. Most of the townspeople are gathered in the square, all blindfolded. Helicopters sweep the town. Indistinct orders are heard over loudspeakers from both the helicopters and ground personnel. This is the guy you were voicing
M-
before.
oh, yeah, MTF-T1 over. Oh wait, I didn't need to read that part. Over Telcom radio and loudspeakers. The target is entering the proximity zone. All units activate scramble gear and begin crowd control procedures. All civilians are not to move from their spot or to move their blindfolds. If you move or touch your blindfolds, you will be shot. I repeat, all civilians are.
The orders are drowned out by a loud shriek coming from outside the camera's view. Approximately 2 kilometers away, SCP-96 is seen to be coming over the crest of the hills. It tries to slow down on the descent, but trips and tumbles at high speed, crashing through several houses before regaining its footing almost without delay. An unknown voice over loudspeakers says something unintelligible. Civilians are not to move. You will be shot. I repeat. It remains unintelligible. Several shots are heard, none of which are directed at SCP-96. SCP-96 stops for 1 second before running into the crowd of townsfolk, throwing many aside and trampling more. More shots are heard as the crowd begins dispersing, the loudspeakers unintelligible under vocalizations of SCP-96. SCP-96 locates SCP-96-1, a middle-aged man, and the camera views SCP-96 grabbing him before it is hit by a fleeing townsperson and is dislocated from the helmet. End log.
Begin log. Video interview log 061-1-Z. Major Jack Wilford, the current commander of the MTF Tau 1, says, I was looking through SCP-096-1's house with my squad. Poor bastard was a semi-pro mountaineer. Took a trip to the... Apparently he took a snapshot of the landscape and just happened to catch SCP-096 in the background.
Wilford holds up 4 fingers for emphasis. This is the same guy.
Oh, 4 pixels, 4 fucking pixels. I doubt the guy even knew what he saw. He was probably looking for the picture one day, noticed an off-color patch of snow, and went on with his day.
How did you find it?
Our scramble gear picked it up right away. The lieutenant got the picture and took it down to the chopper before I even got to see it. But then the damn monster had taken down Big Brother and it peeled open the former Major Sky Striker. All hell was breaking loose.
The scramble gear was ineffective.
Ineffective? The goddamn scramble were pieces of shit that killed the whole damn task force. You only know 3 people alive besides me, all because some egghead thought of
Yeah,
a
fair
state of
enough.
the
Let's
art.
skip over that word
God,
too.
yeah.
Um,
State of the art countermeasures to SCP-096's hostile reaction. Those bloody idiots could have just put a bag over the target's head and be done with it. But no, we had to use the state of the art fucking scramble.
end log. The picture secured by MTF Tau. SCP-96 is circled in yellow and blocked out. Look at that tiny bit of yellow. Like I can barely see the yellow circle, let alone what's inside it.
Yeah, that's all it took. I have to lean in to try and see anything.
Yeah, and that's all it took for the monster to do it. Also, I
Oh,
appreciate that
yeah.
they blacked out the face of the person as well for privacy.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
going
thinking
on
with
a out
four
of universe
pixels.
going on an out of universe level. They probably took like a stock photograph of somebody on a mountain,
Yeah, they probably did, and they just didn't want to
and
show their face.
yeah, or something like that. Anyway, begin log. Dr. Dan, what did that fucker call me? Dr. Dan pushes back from the table and begins standing up. I'll show that goddamn son of a bitch what an egghead is after I bash open his. The interviewee begins shouting and cursing. 2 guards enter the room and push Dr. Dan into the seat.
Do we need to administer a sedative, Doctor?
Dr. Dan takes a breath and smooths his coat. No, no, I apologize. Scramble was really an ingenious idea. However, it was a failure because we did not fully know how SCP-96 worked. You see, as the chip inside Scramble picked up the facial features and began scrambling them, there was a split second of uninterrupted light flow to the retina. Features are fast, but not as fast as light. So there was a split second image of SCP-96's direct face sent to the brain. It wasn't even consciously received, but apparently it was enough to trigger the hostile reaction in SCP-96.
So, with this report of the photograph,
That's the most disturbing part of this whole incident. You know when the former SCP-96 one went on his mountain trip? 1990 blank? That's blank years of that photo hanging there before he saw SCP-96. Since the brain doesn't need to be aware that it's viewing its face to trigger the reaction, there could be ticking time bombs hidden literally anywhere in the world. How many photographs are out there containing SCP-96? Just going unnoticed, waiting for a careful eye. As I said before, I want this thing terminated now. End log.
just a quick question, Doctor. What exactly were you planning on doing there? Major Jack Walford was a top-notch SBS when we recruited him.
I was also a recon corpsman, sir. I was deployed in the Caucasus? Whatever. Marines beat SBS.
No, they didn't.
Enough, both of you. Moving on. Begin log. Video interview log 96-1D. Chief Master Sergeant Blank, the door gunner under Echo Romeo. I got the bag over its head.
Yes, you've told me that. Could you tell me exactly what's transpired?
It was done with all its. I was sitting there in the highway. Just got done ripping open a minivan. Interview.
And
West landed the chopper. I got it out and bagged it. Put the bag over its head. It got calm and they took it.
so the victims in the minivan were the last to have viewed SCP-096's face?
The interviewee is silent.
Mm,
Interviewee remained silent for the remainder of the interview and was released. He was later found in his bunk room, having committed suicide via hanging with a makeshift rope. A half-crushed pacifier was found in his fist. End log. No. So one of the people in that, like, van
yeah?
was a baby? Pacifier
Oh,
is what they call a
yeah.
dummy in America, right?
A pacifier's a dummy, I
I
see.
think that's what it is. I'm not gonna
I don't
look it
know.
up. Yeah, I think that's what they call them over the pond. So, like
Oh,
the
because it
implication, the I think the
pacifies a
implication,
baby?
I think yeah, the idea is like give it. I suppose the idea is give it the thing, and it starts sucking it and stops crying. That's
Oh,
irrelevant. The
okay.
point is that the
Makes
implication.
sense.
I think the point is the implication that one of the victims in this incident was like a baby
Oh,
that doesn't even know what it's
yeah.
looking at.
It goes after anyone that shows, yeah. And you
Yeah,
don't even need to consciously know what it is or consciously look at it.
yeah.
Like they said, and the picture has been hanging up there for years, and he didn't notice it until one night.
Okay, there's a couple more logs that are fairly, like three more logs that are fairly short, and then this sort of side article is done. Um,
Okay.
Begin log. Video log 0961D. A confiscated tape from news broadcast CNN. The image shows first responders surrounding the remains of a crashed plane over the shoulder of a field reporter.
The plane, which seems to be military in origin, has no outward markings designating it as part of the US military. While first responders will look out for a black box recording, it's thought by police that the plane crashed due to a massive cabin breach in both the cockpit and fuselage. The
The
reporter
reporter motions to a large hole in the side of the plane, which several firefighters are climbing inside.
Paramedics have only found 3 bodies, which is odd for a plane that apparently requiring a crew of around 20 men. Police have suggested.
The reporter is cut off as three super stallions are shown hovering overhead, two of which land and begin unloading troops belonging to MTF Epsilon. Shut off the camera. Shut off the motherfucking end log. Begin
Begin
log.
log. Oh,
Was I Dr. Alexei?
I
Were
think
you?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. You were always the interviewer for these ones. So, this is the guy that I was talking slowly for, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, are we finished here?
One last question, Doctor. Our statement, as it seems. You find it interesting that there's no break-in at research site or coffee.
The interviewee remains silent.
We think it would be best if you began talking.
Remainder of video interview log 0961A redacted. End log. I don't see what that has to do with me.
There's no reason to play dumb, Doctor. He's told us everything.
Well then, I guess there's no use feigning anything, is there? Audio recording. 09 hearing. 051.
Upon reviewing your testimony and available footage and the confession of the late Dr. Alexei, it is unanimous agreement of the O5 that you are also to be terminated for your part in the gross breach of SCP-096.
And I thought you would know the meaning of for the greater good.
Do not try my patience, Doctor. Given the incident's scope and potential, the O5 have approached your request for the termination of SCP-096. Given the lack of personnel with understanding of SCP-096, the termination will be entrusted to you, under heavy guard and the personal supervision of me. Your own termination will be scheduled at a later date. End log.
And this horrible doctor. How could you knowingly?
It worked. There was only a matter of time until that happened in a major population centre, and its face spread all over the world news. I can kill 096, but I've killed myself in the process.
Oh, look at the bottom of this.
Okay.
There's a tag of Dr. Dan. So if we like this character, we could find other things with Dr. Dan in them easily.
Yeah. Oh, we
That's
can do
cool.
that. Yeah, that's cool that they put that in. It's like a running character in the series that
Must be
has
like a
multiple
running
ones.
character
Yeah.
in the author's works, yeah. Um, Still not seeing one that I'm scrolling through the page and I'm not quite seeing something that says who the author is, but we can figure things out. We
Yeah.
can figure that out later. So
Yeah,
there
we
is
can.
an audio log from an interview with a blanked out doctor interviewing a captain from our retrieval team Zulu 9A. Um, so do you want to be the team captain or the doctor
I
for
will
this
be
last part?
the. I'll be the captain then.
Okay. Begin log. Blanked out time, research area blank.
Okay, captain. It always sucks to. It always sucks ass to get initial retrieval duty. You have no idea what the damn thing is capable of besides what jacked up information the field techies can scrape up. And you're lucky if they even tell you the whole story. They told us to bag and tag. Didn't tell us jack shit about not looking at the damn thing.
Could you describe the mission, please?
Yeah, sorry. We had two choppers, one with my team, on backup with Zulu 9B and Doctor. We spotted the target about 2 clicks north of our patrol path. I'm guessing he wasn't facing our direction, else he would have taken us out then and there.
Your report says SCP-96 didn't react to the cold. It was negative blank degrees C.
Actually, it was negative, and yes, it was butt naked and didn't do much as shiver. Anyway, we landed, approached the target, and Corporal got ready to bag it. That's when Doctor called. I tried to answer it, and that's what saved me. The target must have turned it, and my whole squad saw it.
That's when SCP-096 entered an agitated emotional state.
Yep, sorry, got the willies for a second.
That's alright.
Yeah, well, I never saw its face. My squad did, and they paid for it up the ass.
Could you describe it a little more, please?
Yeah. It started screaming at us and crying. Not animal roaring though, it sounded exactly like a person. Really fucking creepy.
That's when you
We
ordered the. Oh, sorry. I almost skipped the last bit of what you paused for a second, and I just
yeah,
went to my next line. Carry on.
we started firing when it picked up and Corporal and ripped off his leg. God, he was screaming for help. Fucking it. Anyway, we were blowing chunks out of the target round after round, didn't do jack shit. Almost lost it when it started data expunged him.
That's when you ordered the use of 84 HEDT launcher.
An anti-tank gun. Started carrying it over since SCP got loose. I've seen those tear through tanks like tissue paper. Did the same thing to the target.
There was significant damage to SCP-96.
Didn't even fucking flinch. I kept tearing them apart in my squad, but with half its torso gone. Draws a large circle, half circle across his torso.
But it was taking damage.
If it was, it wasn't showing it. It must have lost all its organs, all its blood, but didn't acknowledge any of it. Its bone structure wasn't hurt at all, though. It kept tearing my squad apart.
No actual structural damage. How many rounds would you say were fired at SCP-096?
At the least 1,000. Our door gunner kept his GAU 19 on it for at least 20 seconds. 20 fucking seconds. That's 650 cal rounds pumped into the thing. Might as well have been spitting at it.
This is when Zulu 9B arrived.
Yeah, and my squad was gone. Zol 9B managed to get the bag over its head and it just sat down. We got into the chopper and got it here. I don't know how I never saw its face. Maybe God or Buddha or
Buddha.
whoever thought I should live. The jackass. Was
You've
it?
a, it's Buddha, not Buddha.
Buddha. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, we have obtained an artist's depiction of SCP-096's face. Would you like to view it?
You know, after hearing that thing screams and the screams of my men, I don't think I want to put a face to what I heard. No, just no.
Alright. I believe we are done here. Thank you, Captain. Chairs are heard moving, and footsteps leave the room. The Captain blank is confirmed to have left interview room 22. Let this be on record that I am formally requesting SCP-096 be terminated as soon as possible. End log. So, what do you think of that? What do you think of this one?
Yeah, yeah, that was cool. I was one thing that I was thinking through it. What would happen if it was put down like a huge hole in the ground? Would it just slowly dig through rocks to
It
get to
says
its target?
it said it could like break through anything, so I suppose it would just dig a tunnel out. Yeah.
It just kind of like mines up. Yeah,
It could survive. It could survive like underwater depths that the guy needed to be in like a submarine or something to be in without dying.
yeah. So
So
it
if it
just
can
kind of like
survive something like that,
yeah.
I assume it doesn't need to eat or anything, so it would just break through, dig a tunnel until it got to the target.
I'm assuming so. Yeah. In that case, I wonder if you could like permastall it by staying underground and just like moving through an underground network. That'd
No, but
be
it can go
interesting.
really fast, right? Like it could go so fast where they blanked that out. So
Oh, I was thinking maybe it couldn't dig that fast because
no,
I
but if
think
it
at the start they said they saw the cell kind of bulged open slowly, and then it broke through.
Yeah, but like if once it eventually does get into your like underground tunnel system, then it can just run through the
Oh,
corridors until it finds you. And like it won't get
Loki,
lost or
yeah.
anything because it sort of like almost psychically knows where you are if you've seen it.
It's like a program that programs like this the shortest path to its target.
Yeah, like it just sort of knows the shortest path to get to the target.
Yeah, so I guess the only strategy would be like to have a way to fill in the cave as you move through it.
Even then, it could just dig through.
You're
It would
basically
just
dead,
you
basically.
would basically just be delaying it slightly.
Yeah, you're
But
fucked.
yeah, between the three we've covered, I just realized this one these actually give you like three very different kinds of things that show up a
Yeah,
fair bit in my limited experience. You've got one that's basically a weird object, which is like the statue that tells you if you look away if no one's looking at it.
yeah,
There's the plague doctor that's like a guy with weird stuff going on. This one 96 is a monster, but it also touches on a sort of subject which is things that like knowledge that's dangerous to have.
yeah,
Like if you know what its face looks like, that puts you in danger. You know, if you've seen its face, it puts you in danger. There's other stuff that's similar, like if you learn the stuff like I don't know, maybe like if you learn the name of a monster, this happens, that sort of thing.
yeah.
So we've had like a variety of different kinds of things with different kinds of effects. It's worked out pretty well. Also, I didn't realize there were the two sub articles when I said this was a short one. I just skimmed the main article itself. We've been here for
Yeah,
like 40
yeah.
minutes.
We've had another 40 minutes on it.
We've been
But it's
here
been
for
good. It's
almost
been a
2
good time,
hours.
though. Yeah.
We've had a really good time, and it's a good thing that we had not. It's a good thing that neither of us had to be in a rush to get this done.
Yeah, good thing that meeting got cancelled and I was able to be here.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really fun, yeah.
I'm glad.
And
I'm
I think
glad.
and I
So,
think
would you
that one
be?
there kind of confirms that I was like that I do prefer the ones with more detail and that have like different cases of things that happen to
Yeah,
explain them further.
yeah. Plus, it's a
Uh,
bit more fun to do the reading together if there's like an interview type section and we're talking back and forth in it. So,
yeah, the interviews were really fun, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I really like that. So overall, would you say you would be happy to come back and maybe do another video on the channel sometime?
Yeah, that was really fun. I'd love to be back. It was thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, I was very happy to have you. So do you have any final thoughts on 96 before I sort of say more about what I've been thinking of it?
No, I just think that the concept's cool. That how it's like it will permanently hunt you down until you're dead if you only see its face. I think that's a really scary thing and
Yeah.
really well written.
And
Yeah,
as like as a story, as a piece of, horror literature, um I think it does a really good job sort of building up over time. Like, as you start reading it, you see, okay, it's to be like in a metal cube. Um, there can't be any holes in it or anything, and you can't. And the fact that it's completely forbidden to have photos, videos, recordings, anything that shows what it looks like without approval.
yeah, that
That's
kind of
sort of
hooks you
like
into wondering why.
that's like a good hook. You read that part and you're like, why aren't they allowed to have video of it? How do they know it's still
Yeah,
inside its containment cell if they're not allowed to look?
exactly. Yeah,
So you keep on reading and you find out that it's a inhumanly strong, inhumanly fast thing capable of surviving so much, but basically all it wants is to be left alone at whatever its natural habitat is.
yeah.
But
And
to
is
stop
there any?
but like to stop people from discovering it and getting brutally killed, we don't even know what it does to them. Every instance of what happens to the people it
Yeah,
kills is blanked out. So like to stop whatever this is from happening to people, the Foundation have to trick it and have to find a way to lock it up and make sure nobody can ever see it again.
yeah. And I think they're trying to get it exterminated at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, Dr. Dan is trying to kill it so that it can never be a problem again, which I will say is unusual. At least from my
Is it? Yeah.
experience, the Foundation like wants to keep things alive, like to study them. So it's like an
Mm,
exceptional thing when they get approval to try to kill something.
I guess it's kind of like hard to study it when it can kill you very easily.
Yeah. as well as the fact that this is one with like a character. You know, there's Dr. Dan, there's that sort of thing. Oh, there's a tag here at the bottom, Shy Guy.
Yeah.
I suppose that's like the nickname for this one. So you could click that and
Oh,
you could
okay.
find like other stories featuring this creature if you wanted to read more about it. Um,
Oh,
so
there's a lot of stories featuring it.
well,
41. It's
it is a very popular one, so it makes sense. But
yeah, I can see why. It was really fun to read.
yeah, so maybe we could well, I think if we do another one of these, we'll probably want to read that story from that's linked on the Plague Doctor one, and then maybe we can see like another article or two. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
that sounds good to me. But I think we're about done here. So
All
so
right,
first of
yeah.
all, first of all, thank you for being here, Oil, and thank you, the audience, for staying here for almost 2 hours of listening to us read these stories and yapping about them.
Yeah.
If you have any recommendations on what ones continue, we could read next time, I would appreciate that. Preferably ones from the first series for now. I want to sort of cover like a decent selection from the initial like run of it before we start getting into things later on. Um, as fun as it is to just hit random page and read whatever we come across, I think at least for now it's probably better to stay from the start when they're like more relatively simple, as I understand it. Um, do you have anything else you'd like to add before I end the recording?
No, that's all. Thanks for having me in here, and I'll see you all later.
Yeah, all right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed me having a guest on because I plan to have people on more often in the future. Um, Goodbye.